This is NBC 16 News at 5:30.
One Oregon State police trooper is on leave after an incident where he refused to wear a face covering, according to the Associated Press. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Jacqueline Mazer. Owners of Allen's Coffee and Tea in Corvallis say 4 state troopers went in without masks and refused a request to put them on. NBC 16's Cassandra Gutierrez reports.
As coronavirus cases have been increasing in the state of Oregon for the last several weeks, Governor Kate Brown issued a statewide mandate that requires all residents here to wear face coverings while inside all public indoor spaces. However, when OSP officers walked into this coffee shop behind me, they refused to follow the mandate. The day Governor Kate Brown's mask requirement went into effect, the owners of this small Corvallis coffee shop say 4 officers were picking up coffee and refused to wear facial coverings. In a statement, owners Robert and Catherine Morgan say the situation became more distressing when one of the officers used profanity to disparage the governor and express his political opinion that the governor could not infringe on his civil liberties and that businesses need not to worry about complying with the order because law enforcement would not be enforcing the order. Oregon State Police Superintendent Travis Hampton took to social media to apologize to the community and coffee shop employees. Hampton says this conduct is embarrassing and indefensible, especially in the wake of thousands of Oregonians taking to the streets each day to rightfully demand police accountability. Governor Kate Brown also released a statement to us saying, "Let me be crystal clear. No one is above the law. Superintendent Hampton and I expect the Oregon State Police to lead by example. This virus threatens all of us, regardless of our job title." And although we don't know exactly when the mandate will end, violating those orders could result in a misdemeanor. For now, reporting in Corvallis, I'm Cassandra Gutierrez.
All right, thanks for that report, Cassandra. Last night's protest outside Lane County Jail ended in violence and arrest. The protest comes after a lawsuit was filed by pretrial detainees inside the jail, alleging that the coronavirus protections at the jail are not keeping them safe and that the court is keeping them from speedy trials. Our Kelsey Christensen has the very latest, and she spoke with both an inmate inside and the jail captain.
Pots and pans clanging together as fireworks going off outside the Lane County Jail Wednesday night sure stirred up attention. But soon after 10 o'clock, things turned violent. As the sheriff's office says some people attempted to tear down the jail fence, burn the American flag, and break car windows. They were met with pepper balls and 1 arrest. The unrest comes after a lawsuit was recently filed by pretrial detainees inside, alleging the jail is not doing enough to keep them safe from coronavirus and that the jail is denying them speedy trials.
They don't wear face masks at all ever. They wear maybe for 10 seconds out of the day when they serve us food now, but they just started doing that.
Inmate Jack Cowdy says ever since the lawsuit was filed, jail deputies have treated those involved unfairly.
Everybody that had anything to do with this lawsuit is either in the hole or they're up here, and they're saying it's because of negative behavior. Every time that there's a protest outside the jail, I guess the deputies feel like it's their need to press back against us in here.
Lane County Jail Captain Clint Riley says inmates are housed based on classification, that there's no such thing as solitary confinement at the jail, and he stands firm that the jail is following CDC guidelines for coronavirus.
We have very strict standards in the jail. If you were to look at our dormitory areas, our biggest dorm we have in the jail is a 48-bed dorm. The most we'll put in there right now is 24.
Riley says more than 130 detainees have been released to make more space in the jail for social distancing. Beds are also spaced apart, and incoming jail residents are either quarantined for 7 days with a COVID-19 test or 14 days without one.
But do you think that the COs are actually following this to the book?
Absolutely. Yeah, our staff that work in here, yes, they take the coronavirus very serious as well.
He says jail residents are still getting visitation, just now online, and also have access to chaplains. And as for the PPE,
everybody in here is offered a mask. We have PPE.
So every CO is wearing one?
They all have them.
As for the speedy trials possibly on hold, the jail is required by the circuit court to hold the detainees. Reporting in Eugene, I'm Kelsey Christensen.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. Well, we reached out to the Lane County Circuit Court and are waiting to hear back. The Sheriff's Department says the jail has one positive case of COVID-19, and that inmate was already transferring out of the jail. They say one deputy was also injured during last night's riot. Their condition remains unknown at this time. For more information, you can visit our website at NBC16.com. Police reform and changes in police policies for racial equity and justice is, of course, a hot topic nationwide and right here in Oregon. Governments are already taking early steps towards police reform. The Oregon legislature just met in special session to pass several police reform bills, 6 in all. One of the bills requires officers to intervene or report misconduct by other police officers. State Senator James Manning of Eugene says that bill is a good first step, but doesn't go far enough.
There is no follow-on actions. We have to make sure that we have accountability, and that accountability process will be through follow-up actions. Once it's reported to the supervisor, then they must report it up the chain of command.
Meanwhile, the Eugene Police Department announced reform measures it's moving ahead with. Chief Chris Skinner says the use of carotid chokeholds by officers is being banned.
I would guess. And when we look back over the last 15 years, and it's been used once in the last 15 years, we're confident that it doesn't need to be a part of the toolkit for us, so we've removed that.
Really do your job. Both sides are mad at you.
Yeah.
Other police changes at EPD could involve rules on handcuffing of suspects, use of pepper ball projectiles, use of force reporting, and other public safety policies. Well, the search continues for a missing kayaker at Diamond Lake who was reported missing Tuesday night. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office says they received reports of a man yelling for help, but no one could see the kayaker.
We are still searching today. We had air resources from Reach Air Medical. They came and assisted this morning with a flyover at the lake. We have boats on the water again today, and search and rescue will be deployed.
The missing person is 37-year-old Jared Bruce Boria of Vancouver, Washington. Search crews have found Boria's kayak, paddle, and shoes, but still have not been able to find him. Deputies say he was not wearing a life jacket. Anyone with information is asked to call 911. Well, within the last 24 hours, the U.S. set a tragic new record. Yesterday, the nation recorded the most new COVID-19 infections in a single day. Johns Hopkins University is reporting more than 50,000 new cases. That brings the total number during the pandemic to almost 2.7 million in the U.S. The last record for new cases was set last Friday with 42,255 reported. Dr. Anthony Fauci has said he is worried if things don't turn around soon, we could eventually see 100,000 new cases every day. The Oregon Health Authority reports 375 new confirmed and presumptive cases. Statewide, Oregon is nearly hitting the 9,300 mark in cases so far. OHA reports another death, making that 209 deaths in Oregon. Now take a look. These are the top 5 counties with the highest number of cases. Multnomah was the highest with more than 2,300 of the 375 cases reported today. 273 cases are in the additional 4 counties you see on your screen there. Now, nearing our region, numbers are lower than the ones we just saw. Here in Lane County, we have 180 cases. Health officials report 62 patients are currently infected. 1 person is hospitalized.
We wish we wouldn't be here asking for an extension.
September 30th is the new end date for the Multnomah County state of emergency in response to the coronavirus pandemic. The state of emergency was originally declared by county officials in March. It was then extended already once before and was set to expire on July 8th. Under the state of emergency, the county is upholding operations to increase food access. It's also using resources to spread out beds as temporary shelters to keep people further apart. They're using funds to help victims of domestic abuse as well. When the state of emergency was originally declared, those who could not pay rent could delay payments. That's no longer necessary since Oregon lawmakers voted to extend the statewide moratorium on evictions until the end of September. And there are no confirmed coronavirus cases reported in Lane County today. However, Lane County Public Health is noting a sharp increase in younger patients testing positive for the virus. Spokesperson Jason Davis says health officials are currently tracking 3 different clusters of dozens of college-age individuals in Lane County for possible exposure and transmission.
The most recent of these clusters resulted from a party that was held for about 4 days in Seaside. This party was held after we had announced these initial clusters. And so we're seeing some of these behaviors continue: no mask wearing, no social distancing, and large gatherings.
Davis says the amount of people affected by these positive cases is going up. When we entered phase 1, health experts saw on average 4 exposures for every case. And now that number has grown, with at least 28 people associated with each new case. But some good news, Davis says hospitalizations have not increased, but he urges the community to continue safety precautions, especially during the upcoming 4th of July weekend. Governor Kate Brown launched a public awareness campaign on masks. This comes just 1 day after her statewide mask mandate went into effect. The campaign is called "A Mask is Just a Mask." The campaign shows a series of different masks with different messages on how they can help save lives. Governor Brown hopes Oregonians understand the importance of wearing masks to reduce the spread of coronavirus, especially among young adults. But how will the state enforce the mask mandate? As we continue to report, OSHA is in charge and has laid out a list of rules stores need to follow. That includes having a greeter at the door to confront anyone who is entering the establishment without a mask and to provide them one if necessary. If you see customers not following the rules, let OSHA know so they can do an inspection. Meantime, OSHA has a staff of 75 field inspectors, and any business found in non-compliance with the mask mandate could be subject to a fine. Well, the results are in. We asked you to share your opinion about Governor Brown's mask mandate. Here is some of what you shared in our unofficial poll. 30% of viewers say they support Governor Brown's mask wearing mandate, while 70% of viewers are against it. The survey is still active on our Facebook page. Just head to Facebook, type in KMTR News, and vote. Well, let's take a first look at weather. Alan Matthews joins us now. Alan, you are spoiling me with all this beautiful weather out there. Too bad it's cold in here in the studio.
Well, that's because when I grill, I keep my meat here in the studio. That's why. So I like to keep the temperatures nice and low so that meat is fresh. So, see, you're lucky.
So fresh.
You say that, though. I'm the one that's actually in the studio a little bit more than you are, and I kind of like the temperature. So that's just that difference in what your preference is. 77 degrees right now in Eugene under a mostly sunny sky. We are seeing a bit of haze out there. North wind at 10 miles per hour and our humidity at 40%. Allergy sufferers, things haven't really changed as that grass pollen is still at the high level, tree pollen at the low level, and it looks like we'll see that pollen level high for your Independence Day weekend. Not a lot to show you the radar satellite again, saying we've seen a mostly sunny sky. In fact, that cloud cover well off the coast right now. We may see some clouds increase tonight and then decrease as we get on into your Friday morning, and it looks like we'll kind of continue that pattern for the upcoming weekend. Now, as far as your 4th of July is concerned, in the evening hours, and we're talking about maybe 6 to 9 o'clock, temperatures are going to be in the 60s. We'll be looking at fair skies, and then around 9 to midnight, temperatures will drop off a little bit. We'll be looking for them to be in the lower 60s to upper 50s. So all in all, not too bad of a weekend. We're not looking for a lot of change, and we'll give you all those weather details coming up in a few minutes. Jacqueline?
Thank you. I love that graphic. You're by a pool near a lake. Awesome. Okay, well, before the 4th of July this Saturday, health officials want to remind you to stay safe, and that involves safety around fireworks with children, pets, and others. NBC 16's Angelina Dixon has more.
Whether we like it or not, COVID-19 is still very much alive and does not take holidays off.
There are a lot of ways that we can be socially connected while we are physically distant. And if we do choose to spend some time with other people, I would make sure that it's outside, that we don't share food, that we don't share drinks or utensils or plates, that we wear a mask if we're in the vicinity of other people.
This was a large gathering a few years ago at a 4th of July event, but Dr. Zalin says she recommends keeping the 4th of July celebration small to prevent the spread of the disease. But also, kids and fireworks do not mix, she says, and to keep kids away from any of the legal fireworks that you're planning to enjoy for the big night.
It's something that can burn hands, arms, faces. It can cause a lot of eye injuries, and actually it can catch clothes on fire as well.
The doctor says hospitals all over the country saw about 10,000 injuries due to fireworks last year. This is not meant to say to not enjoy fireworks this weekend, but rather to do so safely and to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
All right, thanks, Angelina. Well, domestic animals are not the only ones spooked by fireworks. It also happens to wildlife and other creatures. We spoke with the bird curator at the Cascade Raptor Center. She says this is the time of year when a lot of baby birds are born, a vulnerable time in their lives. Fireworks can have devastating effects on baby animals.
That bird could startle, fall, actually even, break a wing or a leg on that fall, or get separated from its parents. Oftentimes we aren't necessarily aware of what wildlife might be sharing our neighborhoods.
Cascade recommends taking a look at your surroundings and being aware of how close you are to trees. She recommends avoid projectiles altogether. Well, coming up on your only local news at 5:30, a new at-home coronavirus testing kit is approved. How it works and why it may be hard to get.